David Stein enjoys questions. He believes that reading and editing are just as important to the writing process as typing and drinking. His involvement with the Cracked Walnut reading series includes managing the website, www.crackedwalnut.com, and the Twitter feed @CrackedWalnutRS. He also produced the album Cracked Walnut Volume 1, Departure, which is available for download at the Cracked Walnut website. He is presently working on a poetry collection called 17 Decibels and a book exploring the philosophy of pragmatic subjectivism. You can find some of his writing at autoanata.com. Please welcome David Stein.
I'd like to thank Satish for inviting me out to read tonight, especially Fridays. I like reading on Fridays. I'd also like to thank my brother and sister for helping me edit some of the poems tonight. My sister Mary is editor for Conduit magazine, whatever you want to call yourself. And my brother Peter is affiliated with the Minnesota Valley League of Minnesota Poets. I think I got the words right, maybe not in the necessary order. Having a loving and supporting family is sometimes makes the poet process a little harder. But I think it just forces me to dig a little deeper, which in turn yields a more interesting product. I have 4 poems I'd like to read tonight. Well, 3 poems I'd like to read tonight, but I have 4 that I will read. The first one is called The Parts of You That No Longer Mattered. I took the hairbrush when you were not looking, and your bedroom fell apart at the seams. The walls tumbled outward, rolling debris down the hill as I stood there looking out, holding the hairbrush. Out on the street there were 7 birds who had come to investigate, to look for threading with which to build a nest, perhaps having waited eons, homeless for their fortune to change. So I gave each of them a strand of your hair from the brush, and you could not forgive me of this when you returned home, after you had called insurance for the claim and the police for the looters, because you knew that I had taken what was yours, the brush, the hair, and that what I had done with it, I had done in your absence. And for what? A few birds, homeless like you, who would have taken anyone's hair, perhaps my own? The birds did not know the difference between fine hair and cheap straw, you said. Didn't know what it was to live without walls, like you, and now you sleep on couches, borrow hairbrushes and toothbrushes, scream when the insurance money doesn't come through, and curse the shoes you walk in. You never would have missed a strand of your hair had the birds not arrived, 7 strands that you had already shed, but you would have slept soundly amongst the rubble of your fallen bedroom walls. This next poem is called Microscopic. It's about how angry we get when we feel small. It's an angry poem. This poem is pure fiction, by the way, and in actuality I've been calm and confident my entire life. As I shrink beneath the weight of all that has been imagined for me, I am stepped over and stepped upon, becoming smaller still until I fit in the cracks of the pavement, fit in the treads of shoes. Soon I will be washed into storm drains, banished to lakes or rivers, and irrigated to fields and forests as food. When I become smaller still, I will mutate and culture, amass, infest, infect, until the universe, to a man, to a woman, to a child, will acknowledge my existence one by one, and I will be known to all lips by no name, no word, but what one useless plea can muster. I'd like to try something a little different tonight. Unlike everything else I do, which is entirely normal. I have a Twitter feed for my creative writing journal, Autonauta, just random whatever. So I've kind of cut them up, randomly selected them, and put them in an order. I guess technically that's a found poem, because I'm using fragments of, I don't know, I'll have to contact the found poem lawyers to see if that qualifies. I call this random Twitter poem C2. That's the title. I had breakfast today, didn't even take a picture of it. My sincerest apologies. Greet every person as an empty circle. Dualistic essentialism is why some people don't believe in evolution. Sometimes you just have to let things be complicated. Every human being has 100 legs, 1 foot for every arena. Sometimes you just have to hear something in a different light, then you'll see. You'll see. It has to be everyone. Imagine 27 pictures of a cat you've never seen before, unless you prefer babies or motorcycles. I can respect that you don't want to get your hands dirty. I want you to understand that I'm not like that. The key to poetry is a strong vocabulary. Every word should have 17 muscles. Find someone that speaks to you. If we could perfectly understand everything all at once, there wouldn't be any categories. This is all part of my master plan. You'll get 10%. You seem different. I am different. I can taste them. I can feel them seep between my lips and pull my tongue from side to side. I'm conflicted, isn't everyone? P.S. Everything is ridiculous. I was going to write a poem, but then I thought, no, that would be silly. Misdirection never works against juggernauts. I don't concern myself with being trusted. I concern myself with being trustworthy. The further you distance yourself from the others, the less you know of yourself. I'm just going to assume that everyone else is making everything up as they go along, too. The most important aspect of writing is writing. Triangles are my favorite shape. Every day I make a mistake. Does it come as a surprise to anyone that I'm drawn to the things that keep me comfortable? Everything I do is pretend. Cut yourself loose and run like purgatory. All we ever do is play. I have one poem left. I think I had some comments prepared of what I would have liked to have said about it, which is good because it gave me something to forget other than my poems. This one is it's kind of a personal satire on how linear deontological thinking can be. It's called linear villainy. I have certain ways of washing my hair every time I take a shower. 1, 2. I use shampoo first and soap second. 1, 2. I have a favorite mug I use for coffee. I know exactly how much cream to put in. I make my coffee perfect, how I want it. 1, 2. Sometimes I take it black to remind myself of how I used to drink my coffee. One day I will like it better and stop adding cream. Until then, I know the perfect amount of cream to put in. 1, 2. I don't have a favorite shirt. I have tried to find one. Sometimes wearing the same shirt for days, but whatever shirt I wear, I always tire of it. I have a lot of shirts with stripes, but no one of them stands apart from the others. 1, 2. When I go out to the cafe, I order soup. It is very difficult for me to order anything else. I imagine the warmth of the broth and the curve of the spoon to be what comforts me. I don't know if this is true, but I can't think of anything else. 1, 2. Sometimes I order a sandwich. I always enunciate the D in sandwich because I want to be understood. I want to be clear. I want to be seen as a clear person, at least when I order food. Sometimes I want to be mysterious. 1, 2. Sometimes I want to digress from what I consider normal. 1, 2. Sometimes I want to arrange things in a different order than they really are. But there is a reason, and I must keep to the reason. 1, 2. Order is set for a reason. You can't put numbers in a different order. You can't put words in a different order. You can't rearrange without consequence, even though I, 1, 2, favor soup over sandwich and shampoo before soap. I have a favorite mug, and that helps me to understand what favorite means. There is a reason for shampoo first. 1, 2. There is a reason for soup and sandwich. 1, 2. I have never known what it is like to be in love. The closest thing I have is the curve of the spoon and the warmth of a good broth. But someday, I will prefer my coffee black. I'm afraid that when that happens, I will lose my favorite mug. And I will no longer understand the meaning of favorite. I am afraid of my future self. I am afraid of becoming a villain. 1, 2. But I am more afraid of becoming a hero. Because becoming a hero will mean that I have been and am now a villain. Thank you.